Welcome back. I'm Karen, founder and managing director of Orchid Leadership Coaching and Consultancy Limited, encouraging you to embrace the leader within. Whether you are a CEO leading a company, an executive leading a team of innovators, an emerging entrepreneur, or a working or stay-at-home parent leading the family and home, now's the time to embrace the future, empower the new you. Welcome to episode 6 of Enlightened Leadership Coaching Snippets from our season of podcasts linking to leadership. In this episode, we'll be deep diving into the practice of lifelong learning to create sustainable change. Introducing the Smart Leader, leading with resilience and agility. If you missed our earlier episodes, don't worry. They're available to download on numerous major podcast platforms. Do ensure to subscribe or follow so not to miss out on future upcoming episodes. Getting back to today's episode, focusing on the practice of lifelong learning to create sustainable change, introducing the Smart Leader, leading with resilience and agility. What would life be if we stopped learning, stopped being curious, stopped growing and evolving? As leaders, it is very easy for us to quote policy and to advise others on lifelong learning as a philosophy to live by. We even perhaps tell our children this on countless occasions. However, how many of us in reality walk the walk? How many of us prioritize our own self-development, our own professional development, alongside that of others in our care or team? As leaders, it's our responsibility and duty to embrace smart. Do not only talk smart, but act smart, as an example to others, including to our families. How much easier would it be to encourage our children to study, to do homework, to research, if we too are stretching beyond our current knowledge and skill set? If we too are unlearning anything that is old, outdated, and within our comfort zone, and instead then continually updating our knowledge base, our practice, and nourishing our curiosity and passion. As leaders of our organizations, we are also individually accountable to our own growth as well as to staff development. This mindset and practice of being a visible example of lifelong learning is paramount to achieving credibility and authenticity when striving for long-term sustained success. How many of us are curious? Curious about our spouse's well-being and growth, curious about our children's growth both educationally, socially, psychologically, as well as through life's transitions towards adulthood. Curiosity beyond a report or simple question. A curiosity of involvement and inclusion in that other person's journey of growth and development. Creating a balance between emotional as well as social intelligence and analytical intelligence. Remaining curious, relevant and agile regarding our organization's place in the market, as well as to its inner workings and well-being and growth of individual team members as a compulsory practice, particularly in today's ever-changing and turbulent climate. Ask yourself, how resilient and agile are you in your role, how you operate, and how you interact and build relationships at work and at home? Let's deep dive further into these areas and really get some clarity in how we can positively move forward. When we think in terms of resilience, what comes to mind? A resilient leader sustains energy levels when under pressure, can bounce back after setbacks quickly, adapts well to change, and keeps going in the face of adversity, whilst having a growth mindset and practicing lifelong, continuous learning. You might be asking yourself internally if you are resilient in your leadership, both in the workplace and at home, and if you are consistent in that resilience. Ask yourself, are you exhausted when faced with setbacks and find it difficult to keep trying? Are you unable to sustain your energy long enough to bounce back after adversity? Are you finding it difficult in adapting to change? Are you unable to maintain a positive attitude when faced with conflict? Unable to find solutions to problems when faced with ambiguity? Are you unable to maintain a growth mindset or finding you feel unable to be coached during difficult times? If you answered yes to any of these questions, let's view some ways in which we can build up our resilience together. As leaders, demonstrating high emotional and social intelligence creates the capacity for resilience and agility in the workplace and home. If wanting to dig deeper into this area, tune into our previous episode where we explore this topic fully. As leaders, if we follow a communication-based philosophy, it will create a culture where we communicate with intention, purpose, and power. Everything is a communication-related activity, which builds relationships and sustains trust. As a resilient leader, remember that everything we say or do communicates something to someone. And at the root of what we do is building effective and positive relationships in our work and home environments. The most resilient leaders not only prioritize their own growth, but also develop others into leaders, those who are likely to also become resilient and agile in leadership. Therefore, developing next generation leaders, creating the space for capacity building, talent development, and empowerment. This equally is true at home by dedicating time to supporting our children's growth journey as they make the transition towards being active decision makers, independent and increasingly self-aware of their internal as well as external aspirations for the future. Becoming a more resilient leader requires a change in behavior. Behavioral change takes a growth mindset, and a growth mindset can be cultivated and enhanced through coaching. A leader who is open to coaching is ready to do what it takes to create change, transformation, or improvement. How often do you ask for feedback rather than waiting for it? The most resilient leaders ask for continual feedback through their careers and from family members at home. It's this bold attitude that leads us to becoming bold risk takers and to make bold changes when required. This ability to make bold changes ties into our ability to adapt, grow, and to champion change as potential change agent leaders who provide the necessity of leadership and unifying vision. Now more than ever, as everything around us seems to be constantly changing, it's important to have someone with clear vision to lead. Having a resilient leader with a vision inspires action. A powerful vision can pull together ideas, people, and resources, even when everything seems uncertain. As a resilient leader, you can provide a beacon of light in bleak times that helps to create the energy to move forward no matter what is going on around you. Being intentional and decisive are a required necessity. The most resilient leaders are effective decision makers who move everyone forward quickly. They can also pivot quickly if needing to adapt due to quickly changing circumstances or environments. As a resilient leader of the work and home environments, we must demonstrate the capacity to lead with agility. As agile leaders, our actions are values-driven, with integrity at our core. To be agile is to be curious and to be an experimental risk-taker through innovation, whilst being a positive disruptor to drive change. Do you embody a sense of urgency in your leadership? Are you focused and decisive with cross-functional teams rather than silos? Creation of engagement across an organization or throughout our families across generational gaps provides inclusive and collaborative talent optimization to optimize performance and cohesively move forward. Agility enables us to be communicative and empowering to our loved ones at home and throughout our teams or departments at work, building a culture of shared values, a sense of direction, belonging, and ownership. Encouraging and cultivating a culture of mindfulness in the workplace or home can complement mainstream strategies in development of resilience and agility. Mindful leaders of the workplace and home are focused. Stress is well managed and controlled. They are resilient in the face of inevitable challenges, showing creativity and innovative thinking, as well as demonstrating self-awareness, superior self-regulation, and demonstrating clarity of communication. Let us for a moment revisit the term SMART. As leaders, we often relegate this term to the workplace, attributing it to strategic planning, methodology, and boxing it into certain times of the organization's calendar. However, I would beg to argue that we need to be equally smart in our leadership at home as we are at work, if not more so. The word SMART, of course, often relates to the way in which we shape our goals in strategic planning processes. At home with our family, do we not also have goals, aspirations, dreams of how we see ourselves and our family in the future? When we think and plan SMART, we are strategic in stating what we will do, using action words. We ensure a goal is measurable, providing a way to evaluate or track progress, using some form of data target. Your goal, of course, should be challenging to move you forward, but achievable, within your scope and possible to complete. Your goal should also be relevant or realistic to your situation, job scope, or desired family outcome. Finally, a goal should be time-bound, stating when it will be done or completed with a specific deadline. As a SMART leader, start with the end goal in mind. When planning a road trip, rarely do we just hop in the car and drive without a destination in mind. Neither would we hop onto a plane blindly, not knowing where we will land in the world. So too, as in our journey to an outcome, we must know the destination, the goal. Only then can we plot backwards to ensure we arrive there safely, intact, and fully achieving what we set out to accomplish. In essence, when we say plot backwards, we are in fact applying a backward-by-design planning strategy. Firstly, looking at the sustainable long-term conditional changes we want to achieve that will directly lead us to our goal destination. Secondly, reviewing actions, in particular, what changes in behavior, policy, if organizational, and practices are needed to achieve those long-term changes. then looking at the immediate engagement and learning required of knowledge, skills, or attitudes to develop that behavioral change. Only then can we plan the resources and activities necessary to begin that journey. For example, knowing you are traveling to a beach destination in the height of summer, you won't pack your winter woolen clothing and blankets for the journey. Instead, you'll pack items and plan according to the needs of that destination. Sometimes when we plan, it can take an age to complete, often because we don't know or haven't yet considered where our destination will be. So we plan into thin air, without real intention, purpose, or direction. Or we sit blankly, unable to picture the route ahead. Better then that we have a firmly agreed destination goal and can therefore plan with intention, purpose, direction, and complete satisfaction that we'll reach our destination safe and secure. Considering this, whether within a home or work environment, are you a smart or aspiring smart leader? Are you clear as to your desired destination? Have you packed purposefully for that trip? A challenge I lay before you. Take measure of your life's SMART goal. Revisit or design for the first time your life's SMART goal. Without pause or thought, quickly jot down what immediately comes to mind when you think of what important goal you want to achieve within a 5-year period. Just let it emerge from your mind. Ensure you reshape it as a SMART goal later. Then, list down what smaller goals you'll need to achieve to make that happen within a 1-year period. Again, just write freely, don't overthink it. Again, shaping it into a SMART goal later. I'm curious, what did you come up with? Does what you've written surprise you, frighten you, excite you? And what will be your next steps? I know when I last did this, it blew my mind as to what was within me, just yelling to get out. Equally, I encourage you to find ways this week to build up your resilience, to be agile in your words and actions, and to be the smart leader, leading through resilience and agility. Feel free to share some of your follow-up actions with me on any of my social media platforms, or alternatively share a comment with me right here after listening. I look forward to our next podcast session, where we will be deep diving into the fearless leader, leading outside the comfort zone. Tune in next time and get ready to take action after the session. Until then, please remember, if this podcast episode added value to your day or evening, download it, share it with your colleagues and friends, and of course ensure to follow or subscribe so that you don't miss out on future episodes. And remember, embrace the future, empower the new you, awaken the leader within, and let's take back control of our aspirations. Thanks for listening.